called the Cradle. There's a 14-county area between the Guadalupe River, across the San Antonio River, to the Atascosa Nueces. And from the Camino Real south down to the coast, it's 14 counties. And in that area originated the cowboy culture. And it was the birthplace of the American cowboy. It's where the American quarter horse originated, in that 14-county area. It's where it was the largest colonial ranch, or a ranch in colonial Texas, covered over 2 million acres. Headquartered down at Goliad. There was over 5 million head that was driven out of the north end of this county to Kansas. And it was the first range laws that were put into effect that led to the range war that led to the Taylor-Sutton feud. So the competition for these wild cattle, there was probably 10 million head of wild cattle that had gone wild after the Spanish lost this country, the Mexicans did. And they evacuated, and all these cattle went wild and nobody owned them. So when the people started coming into this area, it was all open range, nobody owned the cattle. So they went from the plow to the cow horse real quick. They traded in their plows for ropes. And all of a sudden this became just free range. And factions developed, get your ass off my country, that's my cows. But they're not branded, I don't care, they don't. So the Rancho group got together, that was the Taylors and the Clements and all these people in this neck of the woods, said that we're gonna claim these cattle even though we don't have a brand on them. And anybody comes in here and tries to steal our cattle are gonna be dealt with as thieves. Well, they hung them, they shot them. And so likewise, Tomlinson said, all right, by God, if you're gonna be that way with your bunch. And Tomlinson and Creed Taylor were brother-in-laws. They married sisters. So they said, if you're gonna be that way, we're gonna be that way too. So you don't be coming up here and stealing our cattle. Well, the Tomlinsons and the Taylors feud melted into the Taylor-Sutton feud. First one that was killed was a Taylor boy. He stole some cattle. Well, he gathered some cattle out of this area. He wasn't from this area. Gathered cattle out of this area and drove them to Bastrop to sell them. And these men followed him and got him, never even gave him a chance to surrender. They just shot him down. Captured his friend to bring him back to hang him, and they decided it's too much trouble to take him back home, so they just shot him in Lockhart. Left him on the side of the road, and that started. That was 65. And before Hardin got here in 71, there was a lot of people already been killed, hung, shot, a lot of hard feelings. And what it was 2 armed camps. And you had to be on one side or the other because it was just as dangerous to be neutral. Because both of them hated you if you was neutral. So, Lord, they had open range wars. When Hardin came in here, he wondered why that they'd go to parties and they'd have outriders, guards, and people would guard the horses, and everybody was armed while they were at the dance, and it didn't take you long to figure it out.
Now, is Albuquerque in your county?
No, sir.
No, it's in the next one. Just over the line's right there, isn't it?
Yeah, it is and it isn't. The line is disputed. The line goes close enough to where it'd take a surveyor to tell you whether it's in Gonzales or Wilson.
Okay. You might want to tell Keith about Hardin and Jim Taylor.
Well, Jim Taylor and Hardin were part of the Taylor group.
Okay.
And one of the men that was leaders in the Sutton group had become sheriff of Cuero and a deputy in the state police force that was Governor W. Davis's force. And they were referred to as W. Davis's police. And they were hated. Tomlinson developed a group called the Regulators, and they were headquartered up at Wasatch. So anyway, Helms became the leader for the one opposition party, sheriff of of DeWitt County. But he was ruthless. He would just arrest somebody and shoot them on the site. And it got so bad that even the state police said, man, we can't handle you. So he left under the threat of death from because they said, we're not going to protect you, you're on your own. So he left Gun Quarter and went to Albuquerque to hide out with the McCracken family. And he was developing a corn chopper or a cotton chopper in the blacksmith shop of Mr. Bland there in Albuquerque. And Jim Taylor and Wes Hardin heard about him being there. So they rode out to Albuquerque to find him and rode up, and there he was in the blacksmith shop, and these went and shot him. He had a knife, but that's all he had. That's where the joke comes from. So don't ever bring a knife to a gunfight, you're gonna lose. So they killed him.